Hey guys, Sensei Keegan Yench here with my student coach Hugh Ilnicki, and we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about the rear naked choke today and how to defend it. So the first thing to understand about any submission or any kind of choke, arm lock, anything is that there are multiple steps that somebody has to do in order to be able to finish it on you. So the idea is we want to try to interrupt those steps or counter them at some point during those steps. Obviously the first step with a rear naked choke would be don't let somebody sneak up behind you. If they can't get behind you, they can't choke you, at least with a rear naked choke. But in reality, there are times when people do come up behind you and you don't see them coming. So we can't always prevent first. So the first thing that someone's going to need to do with a rear naked choke is usually they're going to have to break your posture. Okay, so if Hugh stands and he's going to face this way. So if I just walk up behind Hugh and I try to do the rear naked choke right now, I can't really reach far enough across his neck with my arm, right? And I could theoretically jump up onto his back to try to do the rear naked choke, but that's pretty risky in a real life situation, because if Hugh, even if I get up and I get it locked on and I get my legs behind him, if he just throws his weight back down on top of me, especially if he's a bigger guy than me, when we hit the ground and we're on cement, okay, that is bad news for me. If it doesn't at least knock the air out of me, I would be extremely lucky. There's a good chance that I could break ribs. If I hit my head on the ground, I could get concussed, or I could even, crack my skull open and end up dying of internal hemorrhaging in my brain. So it's a bad idea for the most part, okay? So most of the time when people are going to try to rear naked choke you, they're going to try to bend you over backwards. Okay, so there's a couple different ways that people will do it. Sometimes they could grab your shoulders and kick your leg out and then slide the leg in. Sometimes they'll push on your lower back or your hips and they'll reach the arm through. So I'm going to just do that one for right now because it's pretty common. But both methods would work, right? So I push on Hugh's lower back and I bend him over backwards. And the idea is that now I can reach my arm through far enough that I can slide my second arm through and I can finish the choke, okay? So he's gonna face you guys now so you can see it from a different angle. So I push on the back, I bend him over backwards. So initially my arm isn't through all the way, okay? But once I get him back far enough, I can readjust my arm through so it is far enough all the way. Then I slide my second arm through and I finish the choke, okay? So that's what someone's basically gonna need to do to choke you. They're gonna have to push you back, right? Then they're gonna have to slide their arm behind your head. If they're doing it really correctly, the second hand is going to just slide over the first hand. He's going to knife hand behind the back, and then they're going to make a fist, okay, so that I can't pry the fingers or attack any fingers. And then it's about pinching the elbows together and kind of hugging the person to me. And I'm going to kind of use my hide my face behind either my hand or his head so he can't reach back and eye attack me or something. So we obviously don't want to let them get that far in. If they get that far in, it's not good news. At that point, it's still possible to defend, but it's very difficult. And if they continue to break my posture, it gets even harder. Okay, so we want to kind of prevent them from being able to completely break our posture and sit us down and finish the choke from the ground where we have less mobility. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll do it from the side first, okay? So if Hugh comes up behind me and he grabs me with this choke, okay? So the first thing to understand is that with his hand here, okay, he can keep me from leaning forward at all, but he can't really finish the choke with his hand on my lower back, right? So if you just squeeze this with one arm, it's going to be possible for me to start fighting it with my other hand. Right now my hand will work to grab his wrist. I want to grab all the way to the wrist and start pulling his arm off, right? Now if he lets go of my back and he locks his hands together, see, now this isn't effective anymore, okay? So grabbing here is not effective anymore, and he's going to finish the choke. But the nice thing about this is that he's not blocking my hips anymore, okay? So now is where I can hip down, I can pick him up, and I could do a shoulder throw or something like that. So that classic kind of shoulder throw counter to the rear naked choke is available at that point. Whether he gable grips or whether he figure fours his arms, I can potentially do that shoulder throw. In the street, I would not advise to do a drop shoulder throw, right? So on a mat or grass, maybe a drop shoulder throw where I kind of drop down to my knees or drop down to one knee is a very effective method of doing that shoulder throw. But on cement is not a good idea, okay? Because when I fall and both of those knees smash into that ground, it's gonna hurt a lot, or possibly even really, shatter my kneecaps or injure me. So I don't want to do the drop shoulder throw. The other problem with the shoulder throw is that sometimes they don't let go of your head, okay? And as I go to throw them over, because my chin and my head is bigger than my neck, it can end up pulling on my neck and actually injuring my neck. So it's a little bit risky to do that, even in if I do it successfully. It does work, but you can also possibly hurt your neck if they hold on. So most of the time what I want to do is I want to try to prevent them from getting everything locked in. So what I'm going to do is when Hugh bends me over backwards, right? So one thing to notice here is he's always going to have this foot forwards, okay? Or at least a little bit forwards. He's never going to have this foot back, right? So put this foot back, this one back. Does that feel awkward?
Yep.
Put this one forward. Does that feel better?
Yep.
Right? So if he wants to pull me backwards, this foot's going to be forward because this is the arm that's forward, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook my foot on behind his leg, okay? And I'm actually going to be kind of leaning back into him. So he's already bending me backwards. It's hard for me to bend forwards. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to the outside, okay? So as I turn to the outside, we'll do it from this angle now. I'll actually do it from this angle. So he bends me over backwards. Oh crap, right? So I am still going to grab the arm because I do want some control. And I'm usually going to turn my chin towards the elbow because a lot of people who do this for real are not BJJ people. So they're going to have their arm a lot across my neck. You see people doing it, rear naked chokes incorrectly all the time on videos of them teaching it. So a lot of times he's not going to be here, right? He's going to be here. And this on my throat can actually hurt me if he's strong. So if I turn my chin towards the elbow, at least I'm not getting my throat crushed. Could he still choke me from here? Yes. But he's not crushing my throat. It's more of a blood choke, or it's actually a strangulation. So I do want to still grab the arm, okay? I want to turn the chin towards the elbow if it's there. That also sometimes can allow me to tuck my chin, but in this case I'm actually not gonna, okay? So now I hook and I turn, okay? So now I've got him kind of bent over backwards. Now in real life here, I will take him down, okay? But again, I'm not gonna take you down because we're on the cement, okay? So once I get my hook there and I turn him to the side, I'm gonna turn my shoulder to the ground hard and I'm gonna throw him to the ground. Now once he hits the ground, ideally he hits the ground hard, he gets hurt, I just exit, we go through what we call our tactical checklist, where I'm gonna check, make sure I don't get hit or grabbed or anything, clear, scan, make sure that there's no other secondary threats in the vicinity, and then I'm going to basically run to safety, okay? I do not want to stay there and fight with this person if I don't have to. If this is a self-defense situation, I want to try to escape and exit the situation as quickly and as safely as possible. So this is going to be our primary defense. This is called no sotogari, where I hook to the outside and I move to the outside. And again, this is useful for when I initially get my balance broken backwards. Okay, so cool. That's a pretty awesome ringtone. So anyway, so we're gonna do it again, okay? And we're gonna do it like a little bit more in real time. So we'll do it from a couple different angles. Do it from the front. So Hugh comes up behind me, he grabs me, turn, and then I would sweep him. Okay, so we'll do it from the side, right? He pulls me backwards, turn, and then I turn and throw him down. And we'll do it one more time on this side, so maybe you guys missed something, right? Sweep me over, and then I turn off to the side. Okay, so that's going to be our primary defense for that rear naked choke, is where the guy, we hook that foot and we turn. Before, while he still has my hips blocked, and I cannot shoulder throw him at that point yet, okay? once he lets go, I could shoulder throw him. So hopefully that helps you guys out with the rear naked choke. There's a lot of defenses you see for the rear naked choke that really just, they wouldn't work most likely if the person's really dedicated or committed to hurting you and not giving up. Also, the effects of adrenaline are pretty profound sometimes as far as pain tolerance. But these techniques we're using are more based on leverage and taking away somebody's leverage. So hopefully that helps you guys out, and we'll see you next time.